This year, the Norwegian Spearfishing Championship was held on this beautiful island just outside of Trondheim. And on the first day, the weather was absolutely perfect. The sun was shining and the mood was good. But at 9 o'clock the competition started and everyone ran off in their own direction. So now the start signal has went off. Norwegian Championships 2022, and we start by walking, just like you should. Isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah, completely right.
Yes. The scenery was beautiful, and it didn't take long before I saw some big pollocks beneath me. To hit that first shot in a competition is so important for the confidence. So of course, I don't. Sadly, the fish didn't hang around to get shot, so I had to go and look for them. That turned out to be way harder than I thought it would be. After about half an hour, I returned to the original spot to see if the big ones had returned. They hadn't, but at least there was some fish worth shooting, and I was very glad to finally have a fish on my stringer. Right here, I saw my biggest pollock yet for the day, but it was so shy I had no chance of getting a shot in it. Luckily, I decided to turn around instead of going straight up. The spot was now definitely empty, and I didn't have all the time in the world, so it was time to move on. The competition area looked so promising on the maps, but due to several seals in the area, along with a couple of porpoises, the fish was shy. I was starting to worry I wouldn't even be able to fill my quota of 5 pollocks. And cods, I hadn't seen a single one. To top things off, some solid crams started to appear. The thing to do when getting crams while diving is to grab your swim feet like you do here, and stretch the leg as far out as you can. And before you know it, the luck turns. When I saw this pollock approaching behind me, I turned around immediately and tried to seem as uninterested as I possibly could. Of course, when I finally pulled the trigger, I saw a bigger one on its way. apparently I seem to have found a really fishy area.
So this pollock just came underneath me, and I think that's a quite nice shot. I'll take that.
And then, just a minute after,
this is my fifth and final pollock. It's very good to fill up that quota. I did not think that was gonna happen.
after that it was just a long swim back home. So it's the morning of the second competition day. The weather is quite beautiful, luckily. That always helps. But as you might hear, it's a bit of wind, and that's gonna hit the competition area quite hard. So it's gonna be challenging. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting day. After the first day, I was number 6 on the list. But it was only 3.5 kilo of fish between number 2 and number 7. So my goal of top 3 was still within range. My plan was to make a run for the bridge at the far end of this road structure. Then, depending on how many others were in the area, I wanted to dive my way back along the structure before going south. After a surprisingly hard jog to get out of the bridge, it was only me and a guy named Henrik left. He was first, so he got the best spot, but the second I jumped in the water, I saw fish. While I was sitting at some rocks and taking on my swim feet, I noticed a nice 3.5 kilo pollock approach me. Still sitting, I tried to load my spear gun as quickly as possible. I loaded one of the rubbers and thought it would be enough. It wasn't. So at least I hit my first fish for the day, but I barely poked it and it swam off, never to be seen again. There were loads of fish around, but the bigger ones were even shyer than the day before. One of them kept checking me out from about 5 meters. He was obviously very curious about me, but very reluctant to come close. My only chance of getting the fish would be by ambush. If the fish is hanging out at 5 meters, there's no use laying at 12. So I found a nice rock at 5 meters and waited. The last time I saw the fish, it was swimming towards east. So I positioned myself at the western side of the rock, hoping the pollock was curious enough to peek around the corner. Let the waiting games begin. After that, I didn't see a single big fish, neither deep or shallow, so I swam over to the other side. So, competition so far. The second day is going quite alright. I've lost a big nice fish, but I got 2 decent ones. It's more wind now, but yeah, high hopes. As important as it is easy to forget, stay hydrated. The reason for me being so optimistic, despite only having 2 fish, was that I thought the bridge would be the most fishy place in the competition area, and I was having it pretty much all to myself. When there were so few fish there, I was sure there would be very little catch elsewhere, and I still had 2 hours to fill the quota. Right here, I saw a completely new species for me, the lingcod. I wasn't too keen on bending my spear again, but before I got a proper shot at it, it disappeared between the rocks. I was very eager to get this fish, both because it would be a new species for me, and it would also be very rewarding in the competition, as every new species give extra points. I made many dives with the torch down to 15 meters where the fish was to try and look for it. Sadly, I had no luck. After a while, I had to give it up. Now I didn't have too much time left and the visibility had gotten worse.
I'll take you too.
This actually ended up being my last fish. So just like that, the competition was over and it was time for the weighing. Turned out there was very little fish in the area and less than 1/3 of the divers got anything at all. The guy in the blue jacket, Atle, was the one in first place after day 1. And it turned out he could have won by those points alone. So huge congrats to the new Norwegian champion. Henrik, the guy who beat me to the best spot at the bridge, ended up on a solid 2nd place.
Cheers.
And my 3 pollocks was just enough to get the bronze. The rest of the evening was spent with good food and even better company. Thanks to everyone who joined, see you next year. So now it's Sunday morning, competition is over and everyone is heading home. It's a beautiful day once again. It's been a blast, challenging conditions and not that much fish, but still fun and yeah, you learn a lot. I'm very happy. I ended up on 3rd place, which is not too bad at all considering the conditions. Thank you so much for everyone that joined and participated. It's really the people who make the competition. Thanks to Marius for making great food of the catch, and yeah, thanks for the good company. So that will be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it and see you soon.
Nei. Ja, men